The roar of the crowd hit me like a freight train as I ripped off my helmet and hurled it into the end zone mud. "I'm gay!" I screamed into the microphone clipped to the goalpost for the post-game interview, my voice cracking like thunder over the stunned silence that swallowed the stadium whole. In that split second, the world I'd built, captain of the Lincoln High Hawks, golden boy of Elmwood, Ohio, shattered into a million jagged pieces, and I could feel the eyes of 3,000 people burning holes through my soul. It started with a whisper in the locker room that afternoon, the kind that slithers under your skin and festers. We just crushed Riverton 28-7. My 3 touchdowns sealing the deal, but as I toweled off sweat from my buzzed head, I caught Coach Harlan's gaze lingering too long on the rainbow pin I'd clipped to my duffel bag that morning. It was small, barely noticeable, a quiet nod to Pride Month that I'd agonized over for weeks. But in Elmwood, where cornfields stretched like judgmental fingers toward the horizon and Friday nights revolved around pigskin and pickup trucks, nothing stayed quiet for long. I wasn't always this reckless. Growing up in a split-level rancher on Maple Street, with Mom waitressing doubles at Denny's and Dad's ghost haunting the garage from the day he bailed for a bottle and a better life in Cleveland, football had been my anchor. By freshman year, I was Damian Ruiz, the kid with the cannon arm and the killer smile, scouts whispering about D1 offers before I could grow a decent mustache. Teammates called me Dame the Flame, and I let it ride, burying the truth deeper than a quarterback sneak. But senior year hit like a blindside tackle. The crushes on guys in the weight room, the way my stomach flipped when Cruz Morales transferred in from LA with his easy grin and ink-sleeved arms. It all boiled over. I couldn't fake it anymore. Not with college apps looming and a heart that felt like it was auditioning for a cage match. That pin? It was my Hail Mary. I figured if I could just wear it, own it in the shadows of the locker room, maybe the weight would lift. Wrong. By the time we suited up for warm-ups, whispers had turned to stares. Jamal, our linebacker with the locks and the laugh that echoed like bass, shot me a side eye that said more than words ever could. "You good, Dame?" he muttered, but his tone was laced with something sharper, like he'd just bitten into a lemon. I nodded, forcing a grin, but inside, my ribs were caving in. The game was electric, neon lights on a blacktop night. I threaded needles through their secondary, hit Tyler for a 40-yard slant that had the bleachers erupting in red and gold foam fingers. Halftime score, 21-0. In the tunnel, Coach clapped my shoulder pads, his meaty hand lingering. "Keep it up, Ruiz. You're carrying us to state." I wanted to spill it then, let the words tumble out like loose change, but the whistle blew, and we charged back onto the turf. Fourth quarter. Clock ticking under 2 minutes. Riverton clawing back with a fluke pick-six. We're down by 3, ball on their 22. The snap comes clean. I drop back, eyes scanning for Jamal on the flat. But he's covered tight. I pump fake, roll right, and there it is, a seam opening like a prayer answered. I plant and fire, the ball spiraling true into the end zone where Tyler hauls it in for 6. Touchdown. Game over. Hawks win. The pylon was chaos. Sweaty embraces, whoops that rattled the goalposts. But as the adrenaline ebbed, reality crept in. The interview mic thrust under my chin by Kaylee from the school paper, her ponytail swinging like a pendulum. "Damien, 3 TDs tonight. What's the secret sauce?" The crowd hushed, waiting for my pat answer about team chemistry or film study. Instead, something snapped. Maybe it was the pin glinting under the floodlights, or the ghost of Dad's disappointment echoing in my skull, or just the bone-deep exhaustion of hiding. "The secret," I said, voice steady as I could make it. "I'm gay, and that's who I am on this field, off it, everywhere." The stadium went tomb silent. Kaylee's eyes widened like saucers. The crowd's roar inverted into a collective gasp. I dropped the mic, clunk, and walked off, jersey clinging to my back like a second skin soaked in regret and relief. Behind me, the whispers ignited into a wildfire. Monday morning, Elmwood High felt like a pressure cooker with the lid rattling. I pulled my '98 Ford Ranger into the senior lot. The engine's growl the only sound brave enough to break the tension. Kids clustered by the flagpole, heads bent over phones, My confession looping on TikTok and Snapchat like a viral autopsy. Did you see? Dame's out. No way, the quarterback? Laughter mixed with the low hum of judgment. And I gripped the wheel until my knuckles bleached. First period, trig. Mr. Ellis droned about sine waves. But the real current was the side glances from my row. Tyler, my wideout and wingman since Pee Wee League, wouldn't meet my eyes. We'd shared secrets over post-game Big Macs. His fear of flunking algebra, my crush on that barista at Brew Haven. But now he stared at his notebook like it held the cure for awkward. I wanted to elbow him, crack a joke about hypotenuses, but the bell rang salvation. Hallway gauntlet to lunch, worse. Jocks from the wrestling team parted like the Red Sea, murmurs trailing me like exhaust. Then there was Cruz. He leaned against my locker, arms crossed over a faded Ramones tee, his dark hair falling in waves that begged to be ruffled. Transferred in August from some magnet school in Echo Park, he'd slotted into running back like he was born for it, quick feet, quicker wit. We'd bonded over mixtapes and midnight runs. But I'd kept the walls up, terrified one wrong look would betray the heat pooling in my chest whenever he stripped down for drills. Ruiz, he said, voice low and gravelly, like Ella asphalt under tires. You dropped a bomb last night. Respect. His brown eyes held mine. No flinch, no pity. Just a spark that made my pulse stutter. I shrugged, fumbling my combo lock. Had to, or it'd eat me alive. He nodded, pushing off the metal with a hip bump that lingered a beat too long. Locker room's a minefield today. Watch your six. And just like that, he was gone, weaving through the throng like smoke. Lunch was execution row. The team table in the CAF, prime real estate by the windows overlooking the quad, sat half empty. Jamal and a few linemen hunched over trays of mystery meat, but Tyler was AWOL. I slid in anyway, tray clattering like a challenge. Sup, fellas. Silence thicker than the gravy. Jamal finally looked up, fork paused midair. Dame, man, that was wild. You serious? The way he said it, like I might have been pranking for Instaclout, twisted the knife. Dead serious? I replied, forcing down a bite of fries that tasted like ash. Doesn't change how I block or throw. Murmurs rippled. Some nods, a couple eye rolls. Then Coach Harlan loomed at the end of the table, clipboard in hand like a gavel. Ruiz, my office. Now. The band room, his office for off-season chats. Smelled of tarnished brass and old sheet music. He shut the door with a click that echoed like a safe locking. Coach was old-school Elmwood. Buzz cut graying at the temples, whistle on a lanyard, stories of Nam and 85 state semis. Sit, he barked, dropping into a folding chair that groaned under his bulk. I perched on a tuba case, heart hammering. Damien's son. What the hell was that stunt? His face was a storm cloud, brows furrowed deep as trenches. It wasn't a stunt, Coach. It's me. The words hung heavy, but I held his gaze. He'd molded me since Pop Warner, barking drills until my lungs burned. But he'd also slipped me bus fare when Mom's shifts overlapped. Betrayal stung worse than benches. He rubbed his jaw, sigh whistling out. Football's a team game. Distractions like this, they fracture. You're benched until I say otherwise. Indefinitely. The room spun. Benched? Me? The kid who dragged us from 4 to 6 last year to undefeated? But the playoffs. Playoffs are earned on unity, not headlines. He stood, door creaking open. Sort your head, Ruiz. Then we talk. I stumbled out, hallway blurring. Betrayed by the man who'd been more dad than dad. By lunch's end, the whole school buzzed. Texts flying, group chats exploding. Gay QB sidelined, drama alert. I wanted to vanish, but Cruz was waiting by the vending machines, Snickers in hand. Heard the verdict. Bullshit. He tossed me the bar, our fingers brushing electric. You're still the flame, Dame. Don't let 'em dim you. Afternoon practice was purgatory. I laced up anyway, habit die hard. But the field felt foreign. Grass mocking under cleats. Teammates milled. Awkward orbits around the absent captaincy. Jamal pulled me aside by the water cooler, sweat beading on his forehead despite the chill. Look, it's not personal. Just weird, you know? Locker room vibes. Weird. The word landed like a cheap shot. We've showered together for 4 years, Jay. What's weird now? He shifted, lock swaying. It's different when it's out there. Betrayal number 2, from the brother I'd bled with. As drills kicked off, I ran routes on the scout team, a ghost in shoulder pads. Tyler finally showed, but his passes were bricks, eyes darting anywhere but me. Cruz, though, he burned paths through the defense, glancing back with a nod that said hold on. After, in the dimming light, he jogged over, helmet dangling. Wanna grab shakes? My treat. Neutral ground. My gut flipped. Dangerous territory. But his smile was a lifeline. Yeah. Beats eating alone. Dairy Dream on Route 42. Neon sign flickering like a heartbeat. Booth sticky with nostalgia. We slid in, orders of chocolate malt and chili fries steaming between us. Cruz unwound first. Tales of LA sprawl. Gang tags on palm trees. Abuela's tamales that could resurrect the dead. Transferred 'cause Dad got a gig at the plant here. Elmwoods. Quaint. He air-quoted, eyes twinkling. I laughed, real for the first time that day, spilling about Dad's vanishing act and Mom's endless shifts. Football was my out. Now, feels like a cage. He leaned in, voice dropping. Coming out takes guts, dame. I get it. More than you know. The air thickened, charged. His hand grazed mine under the table. Accidental? Intentional? Heat raced up my arm. What do you mean? I whispered. A beat. Then I'm by. Kept it zipped since day 1 here. Didn't want to torch the field before I even played. By. The word unlocked something. A door I'd bolted shut. Our eyes locked. The din of the drive-through fading. Cruz. But he pulled back, grin masking the vulnerability. Your secret's safe, but if you need backup, I'm in. That night, in my room with posters peeling at the edges. OSU Buckeyes, Tupac staring soulful. I replayed it all. The bench, the stairs, Jamal's flinch. But Cruz's touch lingered, a promise in the dark. Sleep came fitful, dreams of spirals turning to chains. Week blurred into a haze of sideline purgatory. Practices. I charted plays from the bleachers. Clipboard my new enemy. Voice hoarse from yelling encouragement no one heeded. Tyler's arm faltered without my reads. Jamal's hits grew sloppy, frustration etching lines on his face. Whispers evolved, teams cursed without Dame. But coach's jaw stayed set, a granite wall. School was a minefield of microaggressions. Notes slipped into my locker. Fairy QB? Crude cartoons taped to stall doors. But allies emerged, quiet at first. Sarah from debate, with her purple hair and protest pins, cornered me in the library. Saw your interview. Brave as hell. If you need a witness. Her fist bump was steel. Even Kaylee ran a follow-up piece in the Hawk Herald. Out and unbroken. Damian Ruiz speaks. Quoted me, edited, polished, on identity and the game. Backlash hit hard. Parental emails flooding the principal. Calls for coach's head. But it cracked the ice. A few underclassmen started nodding in the halls, tentative bridges. Cruz became my constant. Study sessions in his basement. Rec room with lava lamps and vinyl stacks. Turned confessional. We'd pore over calc, but detours abounded. His first kiss with a boy at summer camp, the ache of silence. Feels like swimming upstream, he said one night, knee brushing mine on the shag carpet. I nodded, heart thundering. With you? Feels like floating. The words escaped, raw and unfiltered. His breath hitched. Then, slow as dawn, his hand found mine, fingers lacing deliberate. No rush, no storm. Just the soft press of lips that tasted like spearmint and secrets finally shared. The world narrowed to that kiss, tender and seismic, rewriting my fractures into something whole. But paradise has pitfalls. Friday loomed. Homecoming against arch-rivals Crestview. Stakes sky-high, state berth on the line. Team morale cratered. Scouts circled like vultures. Post-practice huddle. Coach's voice boomed. We fight for each other. But eyes slid to me, the elephant in pads. Jamal lingered after, pulling me to the fence. Dame, this sucks. I didn't mean. It's just the guys talk. Say you're a distraction. Betrayal's blade twisted deeper. I'm the same player, Jay. The one who covered your ass in the championship. He winced, but walked away, leaving dust in his wake. Saturday morning. The air crackled with autumn bite. Mom pressed a thermoses of coffee into my hands, her eyes red-rimmed from overnight shifts. Proud of you, Mijo. Win or lose. Her hug smelled of bleach and love, fierce as any tackle. I drove to the stadium solo, Cruz's text buzzing. Bleachers, row 5. Your shadow tonight. Pre-game, electric. Marching band blaring Sweet Caroline. Cheerleaders flipping under goalposts. I warmed up on the sidelines, throws crisp into a net, body screaming let me play. The coin toss, heads we defer. Crestviews offense marched first drive, chewing clock. Our D bent but held. Halftime, 7-3 them. Locker room reek, liniment and defeat. Tyler slammed his tray. We need Dame. Murmurs swelled. Jamal silent, Cruz's eyes flashing mine from across the benches. Third quarter, disaster. Crestview's QB, slick-haired prick named Brody, torched us for 14 unanswered. 21-3. Boos rained from the stands. Coach paced, veins bulging. Then, a timeout huddle that felt like reckoning. Ruiz, he barked.
I trotted over, pelsroaring.
You want back in? Earn it. Let us out of this. No apology, just raw challenge. I nodded, strapping on the helmet like armor. Snap 1. Play action boot. I hit Tyler on a post for 22 yards. Crowd erupting. Jamal stuffed their run on 3rd and short, his roar mine. Momentum shifted. A tide turning. Fourth quarter, down 21-17, 2 minutes left. Our ball at midfield. The call, Cruz up the gut on a draw. He burst through, shedding tackles like water down to the 10. My heart swelled, this was us, unbreakable. Goal line, fade to Tyler. Covered. Audible slant to Cruz. The safety blitzes. I evade. Plant. Fire. The ball hangs, perfect arc, into Cruz's hands for the score. 24-21. But as he spikes it, helmet off, our eyes lock in the chaos. Triumph, unspoken vows. Extra point good. Defense stonewalls the onside kick. Clock runs. We kneel. Victory. The pylon was redemption. Arms everywhere. Jamal's bear hug first, whispering, sorry, brother. Tyler's grin wide as the field. Coach's clap on my back. Welcome home, Captain. But the real anchor? Cruz, pulling me aside post whistle, under the stand's shadow. You were fire tonight. His kiss, quick and fierce, sealed it. Rain starting to patter, washing clean the scars. Word spread like afterburn. Teammates post-game circle, arms linked, chanting my name. School talked for weeks. Not just the bench, the comeback, but the raw humanity of it all. Fractures healed, not seamless, but strong. Mom got a raise, scouts doubled down. And Cruz? We navigated slow, dates at the quarry, hands held in pickup beds under stars. Life's no fairy tale. Betrayals linger like bruises, judgments echo faint. But in Elmwood's heartland grit, I found grace. In a team's reluctant embrace, a coach's gruff thaw, a love that bloomed defiant. Gay athlete? Hell yeah. And unbenchable. The victory lap didn't erase the shadows. It just cast them longer under the sodium glow of the parking lot lights. As the last stragglers peeled out in rusted F-150s, horns blaring sweet victory, I lingered by the chain-link fence, breath fogging in the crisp Ohio chill. Cruz sidled up, shoulder bumping mine with that effortless cool. His game jersey still grass-stained and triumphant. Ride home? He murmured, close enough that his cologne, something woodsy and warm, cut through the diesel haze. I nodded, throat tight, the weight of the night pressing like an unpinned shoulder pad. We piled into his Civic, a hand-me-down from his uncle with dice dangling from the rearview and a playlist shuffling Springsteen into Bad Bunny. The drive wound through Elmwood's veins. Strip malls shuttered early, silos silhouetted against a bruised sky. Silence stretched comfortable at first, then loaded. "That audible," he said finally, gloved hands flexing on the wheel. "Saved our asses. You're a wizard out there." I chuckled, low and weary. "Nah, just instinct. And you, that catch? Poetry." He shot me a sidelong grin, the kind that dimpled his cheek and made my chest ache. Team effort. But yeah, felt right. Felt like us. Us. The word hung, ripe with possibility. Parked in my driveway, engine idling to a whisper, we didn't move. Rain dotted the windshield, blurring the porch light where Mom's silhouette paced. Waiting up. Cruz turned, face half lit, eyes searching. "Dame tonight changes things. For the team, yeah. But for this." His gesture waved between us, vague and vital. I swallowed, pulse sinking with the wiper's thump. Changes? Or just unmasks? His laugh was soft, relieved. "Both. I'm all in if you are." The kiss that followed was deeper, unhurried, tasting of Gatorade and gratitude. When we broke, foreheads pressed, I whispered, "All in." Monday's dawn brought the hangover of heroism. A school transformed into a buzzing hive. Posters plastered the halls. Hawks unbroken, thanks to Dame. Scrawled in marker. Hearts doodled around my number 12. High fives from freshmen I'd never clocked. Even the debate nerds nodded like co-conspirators. But under the cheers lurked the undercurrent, parents griping at PTA about agendas. A few Confederate flag stickers peeled hastily from truck bumpers. Coach Harlan called a team breakfast at the diner, neutral ground with greasy spoons and bottomless Joe. We crammed into booths, a rainbow of bruises and bravado. Jamal nursing a stack of pancakes, Tyler dissecting the game tape on his phone. Coach slid in last, menu up like a shield. "Men," he started, voice gravel from chain-smoking Winston's. "Last Friday, we stared down the barrel. And we pulled through. Ruiz here." His nod my way was gruff, almost paternal. "Reminded us what grit looks like." Murmurs of agreement. Jamal raised his mug. "To Dame. And to not being dicks." Laughter broke the ice, real and ragged. Tyler clapped my back. "Missed your calls, man. Don't pull that bench crap again." It stung sweet. Forgiveness wrapped in ribbing. But Jamal pulled me aside by the jukebox, quarters clinking as he fed it Springsteen. "About before. I was scared, okay? Of the unknown. But your family. Always were." His hug was bone crusher tight, locks tickling my ear. Betrayal's echo faded, replaced by something solid. "Water under the bridge, Jay." We fist bumped. The diner din swelling around us like a heartbeat restored. Classes dragged, but the air hummed lighter. In English, Ms. Patel wove my story into a lesson on The Great Gatsby. Illusions versus authenticity, her bangles jingling as she quoted, "So we beat on, boats against the current." Kids leaned in, not just for the grade. Lunch. Full table again, Cruz across from me, foot nudging mine under the formica like Morse code. "You good?"
Top, top.
"Better."
Top.
Afternoon waits. Iron clanging symphony, grunts echoing off cinder block. I spotted for Cruz on bench presses, his reps steady, veins mapping his forearms like rivers I wanted to trace. "Spot me heavier next set," he grunted, racking the bar with a clang. Sweat beaded on his temple. I wiped it with my thumb, casual as breathing. No one batted an eye, progress fragile but fierce. Post-gym, we hit the trails behind the old mill, leaves crunching under Nikes, Ohio River murmuring secrets to the bank. "Ever think about after?" Cruz asked, skipping a stone across the current, 3 skips for college, I mean. I shrugged, zipping my hoodie against the wind. Scouts are circling again. OSU's sniffing, but the closet there? Bigger than here. He stopped, hand on my arm. "Then we shop around. Places that get it. UCLA, maybe. Sun. Acceptance, no cornfields." His optimism was infectious, a bomb. "You and me against the world?" "Damn right." We kissed there, Riverbank wild and whispering approval. But cracks spiderwebbed. Wednesday, a brawl erupted in the parking lot. Some Crestview rednecks yelling slurs at our JV kids. Fairy football! Echoing off windshields. Jamal and I waded in. Fists clenched but voices first. Back off! This ain't your turf. Cops rolled up, dispersing the mess. But the principal called an assembly. Dr. Ellis, with his comb-over and clipboard sermons, stood at the podium. Elmwood prides itself on unity. Damien's courage highlights that.
Applause Thunder de mine, tentative. Cruces, whooping buzzidme.
Yet home front simmered. Mom sat me down over Era's con pollo, her apron dusted with turmeric. Mijo calls from reporters. And, your father. My fork froze. Dad, the absentee, the myth. He saw the game. Wants to talk. Rage bubbled, hot as the steam. Now, after everything, she cupped my face, calluses rough from platters. People change, Damien. Or try. I nodded, but sleep evaded. Ghosts wrestling in the sheets. Thursday practice. Scrimmage against Frosh. Blood in the air. I called plays like a general, arm laser-guided. Cruz juked a corner, spinning into the end zone. I hooped, tackling him in celebration. Platonic to the eye, electric underneath. Coach pulled me after. You're reinstated permanent. Lead us to state. His handshake was ironclad, eyes crinkling.
Prou, son.
Elation crashed into dread when Tyler cornered me in the showers. Steam veiling his hesitation.
Dame.
Heard rumors. About you and Cruz. My stomach dropped. Rumors. He shifted, towel clutched like a shield. Guys sang. Stuff. Locker room talk. Betrayal redux, subtler this time, not malice, but fear's whisper. It's my life, Ty. Ours. Back us or bow out. He nodded, slow. Backing. Just be careful. The water scalded, washing doubt but not dissolving it. Friday. Regional semis versus Toledo Central. Stadium packed. Fog machines churning mist. Band blasting, Eye of the Tiger. Pre-game nerves jangled like loose change. Cruz's squeeze on my hand in the tunnel grounded me. We've got this. Kickoff. They scored quick, a slant exploiting our zone. 7-0. But we answered, my bomb to Tyler, 65 yards, Cruz rumbling the 2-point. Tied. Halftime. Coach's fire lit fuses. Dig deep. Second half war. Their LB sacked me twice, ribs screaming. But Jamal pancaked their QB on third down. Clock under 4. Down 14-13, our ball at the 40. The huddle hushed. Eyes on me. Screen to Cruz, flats. Then boot right, hit Jamal on the wheel. Snaps executed flawless. Cruz draws blockers. I roll, evade the rush. Throw on the move, ball threading the needle to Jamal for 18. Inside the 10. 2-minute warning. Huddle. Fade. Dame to me. Cruz said, eyes locked. Trust absolute. Snap, I drop, pump. Fire. The ball floats eternal. He leaps, snags it one-handed over the DB. Toes in bounds. Touchdown. 19-14. The roar deafened. A beast unleashed. Their Hail Mary falls incomplete. Intercepted by our safety. Final whistle. Pandemonium. Confetti rained. Mom rushed the field, tears carving tracks. Dad? Nowhere. But Cruz was there, lifting me in a whirl, lips brushing my ear. States next. Us forever. The buzz crested, national feeds picking up the comeback kid angle, ESPN clips looping my game winner. School crowned us kings. Assembly chants echoed. But in the quiet afterglow, doubts nipped. Tyler's warning festered. A teammate's anonymous post on the team forum. Focus on football, not feelings. Subtle sabotage. Saturday, Dad showed. Unannounced, leaning on the porch rail in a flannel too clean for him. Gray at the temples, eyes bloodshot but clear. Saw the games, kid. Damn proud. Coffee steamed between us. Awkward bridge. Why now? Pressed, voice edged. He sighed, long and labored. Hit bottom. AA 6 months. Your story. Woke me. We talked halting regrets. Roads not taken. No hugs, but a nod. Keep throwing heat. He left with mom's number, a thread rewoven. Week's end, date night. Cruz and I at the drive-in, Top Gun flickering on the screen, Maverick's bravado mirroring our own. Popcorn shared, his head on my shoulder, fingers tracing lazy eights on my thigh. Innocent, intimate. Love this, he murmured. You. Heart full, I echoed it back. Romance, real as the reel spinning. But storm clouds gathered. State quarters loomed. Scouts pressed. How's the distraction factor? One asked Coach, Mike Hot. His reply, Damien's the glue. Fierce. Yet locker room fractures showed. A prank. My cleats filled with lube. Slippery slope, scrawled. Jamal confronted the culprit. A sophomore. Benching him himself. Unity tested. Through it, Cruz anchored. Notes in my locker, you're my MVP. Runs at dawn where we'd collapse laughing in the dew. Love deepened, roots digging into Elmwood's clay. But betrayal's shadow loomed larger, a whisper turning to roar. The bus to state quarters rumbled north on I-75. A steel beast crammed with Hawkeye hope and the faint funk of collective anxiety. Window seats claimed. I stared at billboards blurring by. Ohio. So much to discover, mocking the knot in my gut. Cruz slumped beside me, earbuds shared. The killer's crooning Mr. Brightside, like a twisted anthem. His thigh pressed mine, steady heat through jeans, but his free hand drummed restless on his knee. Nerves? I asked, popping a gum bubble. He tugged an earbud. Nah, just, this ride feels like a threshold. Threshold. The word chilled. We'd crossed so many, but state was Coliseum scale. Columbus loomed. Ohio Stadium's horseshoe a colossus under floodlights. 100,000 seats hungry for glory. We bunked in dorms repurposed for teams. Linoleum halls echoing with trash talk. Vending machines humming judgment. Check-in, coaches briefing, dry erase tactics on a rolling board. Vikings run power tee. We slant and blitz. Nods all around, but eyes darted. Mine to Cruz, his back, a private Morse. Jamal cracked knuckles. We got this. For Dame. The huddle broke with claps, but Tyler hung back, face drawn. Walk? He asked me in the hall. We paced to the vending lounge, fluorescent buzz overhead. That post. Wasn't me, but the talk's real. Some guys worry about focus. Betrayal's kin, not direct but insidious. Worry or weaponize? He flushed. Focus, man. State's no joke. I gripped his shoulder. Then trust me to lead. He nodded, but the seed sprouted doubt. Game night, electric storm. Tailgates sprawled like festivals, bratwurst smoke, face paint war cries. We warmed under the arch, arms loose, but my stomach churned acid. Kickoff. Vikings march 80 yards, methodical as a metronome. 7-0 early. Our answer, fumble on the exchange, their scoop and score. 14-0. Halftime locker. Coach's vein throbs. Wake up. I stand, voice steel. This is ours. Run the wheel, Jamal, your money. Second half ignites. My slant to Tyler, 45 yards. Cruz's sweep for the deuce. 14-8. Pivotal drive, third, and 6 at midfield. Audible to bootleg, I roll left, safety blitz crashing. Sack. Fumble. They recover, punch in. 21-8. Crowd's roar turns dirge. But we claw, Jamal's INT, pick 6 vibes. 21-14. Clock bleeds under 5. Our ball down 7. Huddle. Eyes lock. Cruz is fierce. Give me the rock. Draw play. He explodes 30 yards, stiff arming like a demon. Inside the 20. My throw, post to Tyler, picked. Interception. Their clincher run. 28-14.
Finalwhistle, gut punch.
Tears stung as we shook hands. Vikings grins, salt in wounds. Bus ride south. Somber, shoulders slumped. Coach's postmortem over ham sandwiches. Lessons learned. We're better. But loss carved deep. Scouts whispers now doubts. Team chemistry off? Elmwood headlines. Hawks stumble. Is the rainbow curse real? Slurs veiled as satire. Back home, fog of defeat. Practices sharpened, but morale lagged. Fewer laughs, more grinds. Mom's pot roasts couldn't fill the void. Dad called weekly, awkward check-ins turning tentative bonds. Cruz and I stole moments. Porch swings at dusk, his head in my lap, fingers carding his hair. This changes nothing, he'd say, but his eyes betrayed the lie. State was validation. Falling short felt like verdict. Midweek gut check. Anonymous email to coach, forwarded chain. Ruiz Morales distraction killing us. Bench 'em both. Sender masked, but whispers pointed. Tyler? No, he'd sworn off. Investigation fizzled. Trust eroded like riverbank. Jamal rallied us at the quarry, bonfire crackling. Screw the noise. We're brothers. Beers cracked, soda for me, DD vow. Stories spun. First crushes, epic fails. Cruz's arm around me, casual to the crew, anchor to me. Laughter healed fissures, if temporary. But betrayal crested Thursday. Locker room pre-scrimmage. My phone buzzes. Snap from unknown. Video clip, grainy but damning. Me and Cruz at the drive-in, that kiss silhouetted against Top Gun's glow. Caption, Captain's side hustle. Heart plummets. Who? I confront the room, screen thrust. Silence, then Tyler steps forward, face ashen.
Damn.
I saw it happen. Didn't send, but I told Jamal in confidence. Thought he'd squash it. Jamal's denial cracks. Ty came to me, panicked. I vented to the group chat. Meant private. The room erupts. Accusations flying. Fists clenching. Cruz stands sentinel, hand on my back. Enough. This ends now. Coach storms in, clip on his tablet. His face thunder. Ruiz. Morales. Office. Band room again. Ghosts of autumn. This leaks wider, we're done. Sponsors, scouts, all. Cruz's jaw sets. It's us, coach. Private. Doesn't touch the field. I nod, voice steady. Punish the leak, not the love. He paces, sigh seismic. One chance. Shut it down. Or you're both sidelined. Permanently. Warning delivered, we exit, bond forged tighter in fire. Fallout. Group chat purges. Confessions trickle. The sophomore who'd screenshotted. Egged on by vibes. Apologies cascade. Tyler's handwritten note in my locker. I failed you. Brothers? Jamal's pickup run. Blasting Kendrick. Sorry's in the rear view. Forgiveness? Partial. Trust rebuilds brick by brick. Cruz and I weathered it at his place. Abuela's empanadas cooling on the counter. Her knowing wink as she shuffled to bed. Talk, he said, pulling me to the couch. Words tumbled. Fears of exposure. Dreams deferred. If football folds. Then we pivot. Together. His kiss sealed vows. Passionate. Not frantic, soul sinking. Love's depth revealed. Not fireworks, but hearth. Regional rematch loomed. Vikings again, redemption arc scripted. Practice ferocious. Drills till dark. Bodies breaking but unbreakable. Coaches huddle. This is absolution. Mom's sign at the gate. Ruiz runs free. Dad showed 2 sideline quiet support. Game arc. Mirror of defeat. Inverted. Early lead, there's 10-0. Our riposte. Cruz's 60-yard scamper. Tied. Halftime fire, my speech, raw. For us, for the ones who stayed. Second surge. Jamal strip sack. Tyler scoop TD. 17-10. Climax drive. Down 17-14, 1:30 left. Methodical march, slants, draws, my arm a metronome. Inside the 5, fade to Cruz. Blitz comes. I scramble, flip sidearm. He hauls it, diving snow angel in the end zone. 20-17. Their desperation. FGs, but time expires on a hail of incompletes. Euphoria erupts, horseshoe shaking, confetti blizzard. Piled on, Cruz beneath me, our laughter muffled in the scrum. Postgame. ESPN mic. What's next? State semis. And beyond. The ride home. Jubilant chaos. Sing-alongs to We Are the Champions. School's frenzy. Parade down Main, convertibles and cowbells. But deeper. Forum posts shifted. Dame's crew unbreakable. Tyler's redemption. Wingman duties. Scouting film till 2 a.m. Yet humanity's hue. A teammate's dad, burly mill worker, cornered me post-game. My boy's struggling thinks he's, like you. Thanks for showing it's okay. Tears pricked, purpose crystallized. Cruz and I, official now, handholds in hallways, dates at the observatory, stars mirroring our orbit. Betrayal's scar faded to lesson. Vulnerability's risk, loyalty's wage. State beckoned, but victory was here. In mended bonds, love's quiet roar. Unbenchable, unbroken. State semis dawned crisp. A knife-edge November bite that sharpened every sense. The shoe again, but amplified. Rival schools' buses snaking in like invaders. Parking lots a carnival of charcoal grills and face-painted fervor. Our opponent. Cincinnati Cougars, undefeated machines with a D-line that ate QBs for breakfast. Pre-game ritual. Cruz's mixtape in the locker, Nas over nerves, his quick squeeze of my hand a talisman. This one's for keeps, he whispered. I nodded, lacing cleats tighter, the weight of Elmwood on my shoulders like a crown of thorns and laurels. Warm-ups. Turf unyielding, crowds hum building to a buzzsaw. Scouts dotted the press box. Ohio State scarves, clipboards poised like guillotines. Coach's final words. Play for the name on the back. Leave it all. Kickoff. Cougars defer. We receive. Opening series, 3 and out, punter shanking it to our 45. Their RB. A freight train named Kowalski. Gobbles yards, punching and untouched. 7-0. Gloom settles, but Jamal's stop on 4th down sparks fire. Stuffed at the 1, ball denied. Our riposte. Play action, my boot to Jamal on the wheel, 25 yards, stiff-arming a safety. Cruz sweeps left, jukes 2 for 15 more. Inside the 20. Slant to Tyler, threaded through triple coverage. Touchdown. 7-7. Momentum's a drug, we ride it. Defense bends on their next drive, 3rd and long. My blitz off the edge, coach's wild card. Strip sack shared with our DE. Recovery at midfield. Chain moves. Screens to Cruz. Draws grinding clock. Goal line. QB sneak. Me under the pile. Leather burning palms. 14-7 halftime. Locker intermission. Adrenaline soup. Gatorade showers impromptu. Coach diagrams counters. I add wrinkles. Flood right. Boot weak. Eyes light, trust rebuilt. Second half. Cougars tie it quick. Laser to their slot. 14-14. Tug of war ensues, fumbles, INTs erased by flags. Under 8 minutes, our punt pins them deep. 3 and out. Ball at their 35. Huddle hum. This is it. I call power ISO to Cruz. He bursts, 20 yards before the whistle. Then the seam post to Tyler, 12. Red zone. 3rd and goal, 22 seconds. Fade again. Coverage clouds. I audible screen left. Cruz flares, blockers paving, he hurdles a LB, dives pylon. 21-14. Extra point sails. Their fury. 80-yard bomb. Tie 21 all. Overtime looms, but clock our ally. 2-minute drill, there's fizzles on Jamal's game-sealing pick. Kneel down. 21-17. The shoe quakes were state-bound. Pandemonium. Field storm. Teammates hoisting me like a trophy. Cruz's whoop in my ear. Mom and dad in the stands. Arms linked. Improbable duo cheering horse. Post-game presser. Flashes blind. Mike's thrust. Damien, back-to-back heroics. What's the key? Cruz's arm casual around my waist for the camera. Love. On the field, off it. Headlines blaze. Hawk soar on Ruiz magic and romance. Championship week. Media maelstrom. Morning shows beam in. SportsCenter top 10s my audible. School shuts for pep rally. Floats, cheer pyramids, my speech met with thunder. This isn't my story. It's ours. But undercurrents swirl. Hater tweets. Agenda QB rigging refs. Principal Fields complaints. Coach Stonewalls. Personal toll. Sleep fractured. Dreams of fumbles morphing to falls. Cruz and I carve sanctuary. Weekend at the lake house. His family's creaky A-frame on Mosquito Reservoir. Wood smoke curls from the chimney. We fish off the dock. Lines lazy in the current. Ever scared? He asks, reeling in a crappie that flops silver. Of losing it all? I cast, ripple spreading. Every snap. But you make it worth the hit. Dusk dips. We build a fire, Esmore sticky. His head on my chest as stars prick the ink. Marry me someday? He jokes, marshmallow roasted. When we're old and coaching peewee. Laughter bubbles, but the wish roots deep. Love's romance. Not grand gestures, but these quiet, quilting our souls. Dad steps up, drives in for drills, tossing routes till his arm quits. You throw like your abuelo, pure fire. Stories spill, his own youth, dreams drowned in bottles. Don't let fear bench you, son. Healing, halting. A father's redemption mirroring mine. Tyler evolves. Wingman deluxe, deflecting scouts prying. Dame's all ball. His own coming out, by quiet to the inner circle, binds us tighter. Learned from the best. He grins. Jamal's podcast pitch. Gridiron Truths. Episodes on identity in sports. Your voice, Dame. Amplify it. Final prep. Scrimmages brutal. Bodies battered. Injury scare, Cruz's ankle tweak. Taped but tender. I'll run through walls, he vows. Coach's eve of pep. Champions bleed together. We do, bruises badges, sweat sacrament. Championship night. Horseshoe swollen to bursting. 105K strong. Neutrals in gray splitting allegiances. Opponents. Cleveland Cavaliers. Irony thick. Powered by a dual-threat QB. Scouts salivating. Atmosphere. Primal drum. Pyros blooming red. Our tunnel walk. Cruz's hand slips mine, fleeting. For us. Kickoff chess match. They score first. Field goal after our D Stonewalls. 3-0. Answer, my 50-yard rainbow to Tyler, Cruz PAT. 7-3. Seesaw. Their gadget play, reverse to the WRTD. 10-7. Our counter, Jamal's blindside, fumble forced. Cruz ices the return. 14-10 halftime. Break. Coach's calm eye. Wearing down. Third, grinding runs, my checks keeping rhythm. Fumble, there's Tyler Scoops 40-yard rumble. 21-10. Their rally, 2 TDs, quick strikes, 21-17. Nerves fray, crowds pulse hours. Fourth, pivotal stand, fourth and 1 at our 40, they go for it. Kowalski-like RB stuffed by Jamal's gap shoot. Ball hours. Drive of drives. Slants chaining, Cruz drawing doubles. Inside 10. Clock 1:45. Huddle. You call it, Dame. Fade to Cruz. Snap. Rush collapses pocket. I evade. Scramble right, he breaks coverage. Throw on the run, wobbling but true. Leap Hall score. 28-17. Their desperation. Onside kick. Muffed, we recover. Kneel twice. Whistle.
Champion.
Eruption. Confetti deluge. Trophies hoisted. Tears free. Piled in the end zone, Cruz's arms my haven. We did it. ESPN swarm. Rings slipped on, confetti cannons. Mom's hug crushes. Dad's proud nod, eyes wet. My boy. Aftermath. Parade through Columbus. Then Elmwood's Maine, fire trucks wailing. Kids on shoulders. Rings glint. Banners wave hawks. Unbowed. Media montage. My journey. Teammates' testimonies. Jamal's brother for life. Tyler's learned love wins. But humanism's heart. Letters flood. Kids from Akron. You gave me courage. A trans teammate from Rivals. Thanks for the blueprint. Coach's retirement tease. One more ring? Nah, this one's enough. He winks, legacy shared. Cruz and I, future sketched. OSU dual commits, shared dorm dreams. Graduation looms. Caps tossed. Betrayal's ghost. Banished to footnotes. Lessons etched. Conflict forges. Emotion endures. Romance redeems. In Elmwood's amber fields, under endless skies, I stand unbenchable. Gay athlete, captain, lover. The game's echo fades, but the story? Eternal, human, holy.